Hello, it's Claina. Today we're going to take a look at the proper pumpkin. Look at that, what a wonderful 3D piece of autumnal home decor. Now, the design with this, I've given you lots of little cutouts for the light to escape, because this is a luminaire too, as well as, you know, a piece of an autumnal ornament for your home. But as you can see, I've made the strips here, or I've made windows to fit the sparkle screen strips. And I've got the starburst one in my pumpkin today. But in the bundle, if you go for the bundle, you'll be having the glitter ones. But all the other designs are available as well in the strips. Let's take a look at those quickly. Okay, so we have the Aurora. Now I haven't even got the lights down, but you can see how great that is. We've got the Mirable. Look at that. It's just so fun. Then we've got the Starburst, which is the one that I've used. And then here's your glitter. It's just so pretty and it's like elegant. Okay, so those are the different strips that are available. You'll have a hard time choosing, I think. But I've got these Starburst sparkle screens in this pumpkin here. What I love about this is it's not for Halloween. Of course, if you want to put a jack-o'-lantern face on it and use it for Halloween decor, why not? I mean, I'd love to see that. So do share it in our group. Claina's Crafty Crew on Facebook. That's where all the inspiration goes, and we'd love you to share your projects. Okay, so if you wanted to make it a Halloween pumpkin, obviously that's going to be fantastic. But what I like about this is that it's autumnal, which means that you can be putting it out as soon as it starts getting chilly, or as a lot of people do on the 1st of September, but you can keep it out all the way through to when you put your Christmas decorations out. I normally do that in December. So you're getting a lot of you're getting this on view in your home for an awful lot of months. If it was Halloween, I think you'd feel a little bit like you've got to put it away, you know, on the 1st of November, but no. But it just being autumnal, you can keep it out longer. How fab is that? Okay, so I'm going to be doing a different colour today, so we can have a look at, I think the white ones are called ghost pumpkins, aren't they? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk you through the prep that I've done. Now there is I'll bring all my pieces in, but there is a die cut list on your packaging, but I know that we don't always keep our packaging. So there is a die cut list in the group. So there are PDFs there. You can just save them to your computer, or you can print it out. It's completely up to you. So what we're going to do with all these pieces, you'll see on the die cut list, you just want to cut 8 of each. And then these little pieces as well. So these are all the pieces that you cut 8 of each. Okay, now for prep, all you need to do is go along and fold all the score lines. Now the only one I think you need to fold is a valley fold, is the one just at the tip here, the very small triangular tab. The others all go, they're all mountain folds. Okay, and the same up here. It's just a valley fold right at the tip. Okay, now your strip, your you know, your window pieces, you do get the window separately. Now that is so you can use the same piece for cutting your window material. So whatever you go for, I mean, obviously you can use acetate, vellum, whatever it is that you want to cut your window material from. So you're using the same piece. So with the die, the outside die, you're going to pop in your windows, cut your 8 pieces, then you're going to take the windows out, and then you're going to cut your 6 sparkle green strips, or your vellum, or your acetate. So you're going to cut 8 of those as well. Now what I've done, I'll show you. Now, I recommend you put these together with wet glue. Apart from, I always say to you, with your window material, I use red liner tape. The thing is, it's non-porous. Now, what that means is the glue can't soak into it, because all window materials, regardless of what they are, they're all kind of plastic based. So when you put glue on them, it spreads and it can ooze out and it can get a little bit messy. So I always use red liner tape where I'm going to be putting window material, but the rest of it I do glue together. So I've put some red liner tape. I haven't actually put it down the sides. You can do that as well if you want, but I've just done it on the kind of cross sections. I've put 6mm here and 3mm here. So if you've got the 3mm, that cross section there is exactly 6mm. But I've just put the 3mm on there because I have 3mm and it makes it easier to do. So that's what you need to prep for that. Now, like I say, you cut these pieces again with your window material, and that gives you this with the tabs in. So we're going to cut the tabs off. So we're going to cut the end two tabs off because we don't need those. And then we're going to cut all the side tabs off. Now, if you have trouble seeing where the fold line is, get the light reflecting on it, and then you can see exactly where you need to go. But there is a bit of wiggle room, so it doesn't matter if you come inside of it a little bit. Okay, there we are. So you just cut the two end tabs off and the side tabs, and then that's your window material all done. We've got two of these, two of your top, and then we've got our stem. Now I've gone green on my orange one there, but I thought, seeing as I was going for a white pumpkin and the glitter sparkle screens, I'm going for kind of a bit of an elegant look. So what I've done is I've cut out some gold satin card for my stem. These are my two side pieces, and then this is the leaf. Now it's white backed, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop them back to back. Now they're not exactly symmetrical, but they're not far off, so I can easily just pop those back to back. And then I can sit that aside and just let that take hold while I am I'll just pop a magnet on that to hold it. You've got these pieces which are your base. Now they've got a little score line on them. It's a bit like a lightning bolt, but there's a little score line there. You don't need to fold on that. That's just your marker for where you put your glue. So just a tiny bit of glue. And then add all these together, and then this is for the bottom. Now you've got a nice big opening in the bottom, so you can get in there to put your lights in. If you're not using sparkle screens at all, because you know how sparkle screens, they need fairy lights. If you're just using vellum or acetate, you can use any kind of light, but the opening at the bottom of the pumpkin is plenty big enough for if you're putting in one of the like LED circular lights, or if you've got like electronic pillar candles, anything like that. So you've got a nice big opening, so regardless of however you want to light up your pumpkin, you can do that. So there we go. The last one together. Okay, so that's the bottom. So I can set that aside to take hold fully. And then I think let's do our stem. Now, as I was saying, maybe I should have put red liner tape on this because it's got that slick surface. So I'm going to see how I get on, and yeah, if I need to, if I need to have red liner tape, I'll do that. Okay, so when you're looking at this, the back piece is the longer piece. So that's there on the left. So when you're gluing onto a slick surface, it normally takes a little bit longer. So I'm just going to take my time. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention. I'm sorry about my hands. I've got some signs of where I've been playing with my kitten. He's a very playful cat, and I can't resist it. Okay. Right, so I'm going to carry on. So I'm just going all the way around. So I'm at the front piece now. I'm going to keep working my way around, and once I've finished on this side, I'll put the other side on. Okay, once that has taken hold, then and pop your pieces in the little opening here in the top of the pumpkin. And just up to the score line or the fold line. Okay, and then we'll add a little bit of glue to all 4 tabs. Fold those outwards. And then you can push down on here, which makes it a lot easier. The underneath is flat. Okay, there's magnets. I'll hold that for a minute. And then this is symmetrical, so I can put it on upside down as long as the rectangle is the right way around. Although I don't suppose it matters, but I think it will look nicer. But it is going to be hidden inside, so nobody's going to see it, even if it does go on the wrong way around. So see, there's a rectangle there, so I just line up the two rectangles and then yeah, lovely. Right, so I'm going to set that aside with some magnets on it so that can take hold while I'm putting the rest together. These kind of grooves here, these are two pieces, so I'm gonna join all of these together and then assemble the whole thing. So they're made up of these two pieces. Now it seems a little odd, they actually go that way round, that they're curved. You think, how are they going to join together? But they do. Okay, so we'll take one of each. Okay, and what I do, little tip for you, is I actually start at the middle. So when you're joining them together, it seems a little strange, but you want them to be facing each other like this. So they're kind of like two C's. Okay, and then I recommend you start at one of these two middle points on the tabs. Now the tabs look a little bit weird because they've got cutouts in them, and that's just so when they go behind the holes on the other piece, they don't block the holes out. So the tabs themselves have got little holes, but there's still area there for you to put glue on. Okay, so okay, I've folded my tabs the wrong way, haven't I? They need to be valley folds. That would have been better if I did that before I put the glue on. But luckily it was just one tab. I put some glue on. Okay, there we are. Because they'll actually go a bit like this, see? Right, so let's start on that first one. Now that's nice and easy because the two pieces are flat at the moment. And it's anchored at the centre, so it's much easier to do it that way. I highly recommend you start at one of the middle points here. So you've almost got these two pieces facing themselves, and then the tab kind of wraps around the back. And as you get to the top, you'll notice that they start curving over. I mean, it's not anything that you've got to worry about, because as the tabs go together, it will naturally form the shape that you need. And then at the top, we can glue those two little triangles together. Okay, so now I'm back down and I'm going to work from that center point downwards. And again, just going along, kind of wrapping the tab around the back. But because we anchored it with one of the center points, they all fall into place correctly. Now you don't join the two tabs at the bottom, just at the top where it curls round. Okay, I think that's taken. Right, there we are. So can you see the shape that it creates? So we kind of had two C's before, and now they've come together and we've just got the one. And then all the holes on the tabs here, they allow the light to go through on that piece so they're not obstructed. So there we are. So we just need to do all 8 of those. So again, I'll just start another one. So we'll start on one of the 2 center points. Did that one last time. Let's do the next one down this time. It doesn't matter which one of these 2 center points, but it really does make it easier. Okay, so that one, it's that one there. And this first one's nice and easy to go together because they're flat. And then it's all anchored and everything else falls into place. Okay, so when that one's done, you bend your tab. Need to go through and change the direction on all my tabs. They're all valley folds in the grooves here. Okay, so we're anchored there. Look, so we can't go wrong. And we'll just go through now and put the rest of the tabs on. Simple as that. Oh, one thing I haven't mentioned is the size actually of the pumpkin is nearly 9 inches in all directions. So it's nearly 9 inches tall. It's about 8.5 inches wide, and obviously 8.5 inches deep because it's round. So it's a nice size. Then at the top here, you want to join the little 2 triangles together because they sit on top of each other when you glue that last tab. So we can do that now. We don't need to do anything with the bottoms because they're side by side, but here they actually overlap. Okay, that's the second one. So I'll carry on and put the rest of those together. Okay, so that's all 8 of those done. Right, so now we can start putting it together and alternating it with our window strip. Okay, so when you look at it, you've got the narrower end and the wider end. So the two solid panels, you can see this one is almost like a triangle, and that is up at the top here where it curls over, where this one curls over at the top. So it's like that. So I hope that's nice and clear. So again, I'm going to start at the middle and anchor it at the middle. So I'm going to just pick one of the middle points. And again, we've got tabs here that have got holes in that let the light through from the groove point. Okay. So the first one's always the easiest one. Because those two pieces are kind of flat, so you can just hold them there, and then when it's ready you can glue the rest and it's nice and anchored. Once you've got one in place, everything else kind of falls into place. Okay, so and the good thing is about having your windows open is you can actually put your fingers right through to hold it. So I'm going to start, as I always do, putting the glue on the next tab while I'm holding the previous one. Okay, and then again, you'll see it will just fall into place. This is where you'll start seeing it really start to take shape. This is where it gets fun. Because we've done all of our prep, we've got everything ready. And now this is like the final stages. Right, now after I've put some pieces together, so as I go round now, I'm going to be popping my window material in as I go, because I think it'll be a little bit tricky. With some of the straighter lanterns, it's very easy to put your window material in afterwards, which is nice because then you've got all your windows free for you to put your hands in when you're doing your construction. But with this one, because it kind of almost curls in on itself, I'm going to put my window material in as I go. Now, because this is the same size as this, just without the tabs, I'm going to bring it right down to that bottom seam. And then what I'm going to do, I hope you can see this, what I'm going to do, so I've put plenty of red liner tape down there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it taut and I'm going to walk my fingers up so it catches in all of those like little cross members where we put the little, remember where I said I put the 3mm? There. And there we've got a perfect fit. If you don't kind of rock it and walk your fingers up like that, it may not fit snugly in all of the windows and you might get a little bit of a gap. So that is another one of my little tips for you. Just rock it and walk your fingers up, and there you can always give it a little squeeze afterwards and make sure that it's all sitting nicely. But there, isn't that cool? We've got one strip in. Okay, so I'm going to keep on going around, and then as I put the next groove on, I'm going against my own advice there. I want to start with one of the middle ones. It's best to anchor it in that middle point. It kind of would make sense to start at one end, but you get a much better finish if you do it this way. If you start at one end, what you can find is you get a little bit of creep. So when you get to the top, it might not be as level as you'd like. So if I anchor it here in the middle, it all goes together nice and easy. Okay, so I'm not going to put my window material in now. I want to put my other groove section on first. Once I've got both sides of the window panel in place, then I put it in. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so now I've put the grooves on both sides, I can put my window in. Okay, so I am lining it up at the bottom. With that score line, trying to make sure it's nice and square. So I make sure that tape at the bottom's taken, and then I'm going to walk my fingers up. There. Lovely. And I'll move on. So we've got 2 in now and 3 of the grooves. So I'll just carry on with the rest of these, and then we'll take a look at the next step. Okay, so I've carried on going around in the same way, and then this is the last piece going in now. So then I've just got the last windows now to fill in. So this is the fiddliest bit, I would say. So now this is why I didn't leave all of the red liner tape till the end, because we've got to reach in now with everything closed up and get it out, which is doable. It's a little bit difficult to see what you're doing. But luckily my hand can fit in here, because I haven't put the base piece on yet. Luckily there's just enough room for me to get my hand in to take that red liner tape off. So I've got to put my last sparkle screen strip in. Okay, so I'm popping it through the top as well. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to walk my fingers up and rock the pumpkin over. Okay, so that's the last piece in, so we're going to pop our base on. So that's this piece, and if you offer it up you'll see that you can see where it fits. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue it on one of these straight edges just to anchor it, because then it's like you've got a spare pair of hands, because it's being held for you in one place. So just on one of these straight edges, just gonna slide that over so it's on the fold line. And just give that a minute to take hold. We want that to be a nice strong, you know, for it to have dried fully. Okay, I'm going to go to the opposite side now, and I'm going to put glue on that straight edge, that straight tab. Okay, so we've got it fixed at both edges, so we can now easily get under here and add glue all the way along this half, and then we'll just work our way along one tab at a time, adding a little bit of pressure, and then that'll fall into place nicely. So I'm going to go to this midway point, give it a little squeeze, and just work my way around. Okay, now do the other side. First of all, I'll do that midway point. And work my way around. Okay, I think that's okay. So that's our bottom. Now we'll be putting our top on, which is the piece that we did earlier on with our stem. Okay, so what we've got now is we've got all of these rectangular pieces that are coming in. And do you remember those little triangular pieces that we here that we overlapped and glued? Well, that's where the points go. So they go in there. And the rectangles are the flat sides. So can you see how that just sits on there? So really, as long as you put glue on these rectangle pieces, you'll be fine. You don't particularly need to do it on those little triangles, but that's just like the shape where this top piece goes. Now probably what I should have done here was anchored it on one of them. Now I can just about, I can't get my whole hand in here really. I don't want to ruin it, but I can just about reach in with my fingers. Now actually what you can do is have a look and pick your side for how you want, where you want the front. I mean, that's looking okay, I think. Let's have this as my front, because I like my stem to face to the right. I mean, it doesn't matter. There's no rules. So this is going to be my like front, like when I have it on display. So I just pick a nice panel to like line up with that. So when I've got it out on display, I've got a nice side facing me. Right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to reach in and one by one I'm going to just adhere those little rectangles. So I'll come around this side, do one over here. So I've got my hand inside. It does just go in there. So work your way round, gluing your rectangular tabs, but don't worry about the little triangular ones. So I've not glued those little triangles, but that doesn't worry me. It's secured. There. See in there? Just sits in those little grooves. But I've just adhered the rectangular pieces. Okay, now remember when we were gluing these two pieces together and we left that opening underneath the stem? What you can do is when you put a light in, you can actually tape one light up in the stem, because we've got these holes here all the way across and around the stem. So if you put the end light up in the stem, then that will glow as well. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my leaf. So what I do with that, if I get a pencil, okay, so I want a bit of it to actually touch my stem at the back. So I'm going to just curl a little bit there, because then that can touch the back of my stem, and I'll add a glue dot. But then I want to curl. It's a bit tricky because I've got two layers here because I wanted it gold on both sides. Okay, so we just need that bit to go backwards. Alright, that's looking something like it. So then if I attach a bit of it there, but it'll come round. It'll kind of come round. Okay. Now if you're not using a slick material here like I am, you can just use glue. But because I'm using satin cardstock, and a bit of red liner tape. Okay, so I want that to touch there at the back, but I want it to come round there. Can you see that? So it's touching at the, it's just got a little bit of red liner tape on there, but I've curled it around the stem. So so from the front you can still see it. There, that's it finished. Okay, now our very last thing to do is to add our lights. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of red liner tape on the underside of my little light box. You know, the little battery pack. So when I tuck my lights inside, I can put it near the opening where I can reach it. So I think I will put it just there. Hang on, where, okay, I'll put it at the back. There. Okay, can you see that? I've just tucked it there so I can reach the little button. Oops, there you go. Okay. There, right, let's pop the lights off and have a look. Oh, look at that, isn't that lovely? Oh, it's not actually coming across on the camera very well. Oh, but it is so pretty. That glitter with the white and the gold. It's just such a different effect. It looks really elegant. I love it. Well, I was hoping this colourway would look great, and it does. And the glitter sparkle screens are just glowing. I don't know if that is showing on the camera. I don't know if you can... Believe me, they look better in person. If you have... Oh, that's my cat up on the roof. If you have any of the sparkle screens, I'm sure you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They are so much better in person. And I just love the way that all the lights come through, all these little pinholes. Oh, that's amazing, isn't it? And then if we bring back in our orange pumpkin, this is your elegant look, but this is your traditional. So remember, this has got our starburst sparkle screens inside. Aren't they wonderful? So whatever your tastes are for autumn, if you like the traditional or you like a more contemporary look, you can make it match your home decor or just your taste. Now, the great thing is about this is you don't need to have super thick cardstock. Medium weight cardstock is absolutely fine for this. So that's a little bit easier on your hands, I know, when you're constructing. So yeah, a medium weight cardstock, any colour you like. I'd love to see what you come up with. Are you going to add any autumn leaves to it? Any, you know, flowers to go with your foliage? I'd love to see what you do with yours. I know I am definitely going to be having mine on display in my home right up until I decorate for Christmas. And that's the great thing about it not being Halloween specific. We don't have to take it down on the 1st of November after Halloween. So there you are. That is the proper pumpkin. I hope you love it as much as I do. And join us in the group to share your makes. That's Clayna's Crafty Crew. And I will be back with my next 3D creation. Bye!